Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport. And the World Cup is just around the corner and it's predictions time. I'm joined this week by Conor Porter. It's good to have you back on, Conor. Thanks for joining us today. And we're going to preview the World Cup and our predictions. So we're going to have a look at who we think is going to win the tournament. We've each done a tournament tree, and then we're going to pick, obviously, who's going to win it, first place, second, runners up, sorry, the third place playoff, and then who's going to be a breakout star, and little things along those lines. So, Conor, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Joe. Yeah, I'm doing great. World Cup time. It's very odd that it's happening in the winter rather than the summer, but we'll see how it goes. For once, actually, it is looking very promising for our own England after their performance at the European Championships last year. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it as an England fan, but I'm also looking forward to it as a football fan because there's quite a lot of good teams in this tournament, and quite a lot of teams that are fit to potentially win it all come the end of, usually you say come the end of July, start of August for the World Cup, but now we've got to say come the end of mid-December or something like that, somewhere along those lines. But, we'll get used to it. I think we'll get used to it. But yeah, it should be an exciting tournament.
It just seems strange, doesn't it? Normally it's barbecue and beer weather, but now it's hot chocolate and
I mean,
roast dinner weather.
You still could have a barbecue, but it could be very wet and it might be very cold whilst you're out there flipping those burgers. So, I mean, you could have an indoor barbecue as well. It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
As long as the house is well ventilated.
Yeah, that's another thing as well.
Should we start off by looking at the tournament trees? Then we'll go with your one first, Conor. So talk us through your predictions. So who you think is going to win each group and the overall tournament? I think there might be a few surprises in here.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're showing if you've made your own graphic on this or if you're showing the one I sent over from BN Sports. So I'll just give them a shout out for their tournament predictor thing because it's a really good, nice, cleared layout. Apart from the groups where it's actually grayed out the teams that I think are going to progress. And it's highlighted the ones that I don't think are going to progress. So no, I don't think Senegal and Qatar are going to progress out of Group A. I'm not some sort of I can't even think of the word now.
Optimist.
I can't even think of the word now. But yeah, I think Netherlands and Ecuador will progress out of Group A, and that might surprise some people, given Senegal and how strong of a team they are. But I think it really is a coin flip between Ecuador and Senegal for second in Group A. It just comes down to whether or not Sadio Mane is injured or if he's healthy enough to play. We'll have to wait and see really on that front. I'm recording this on Friday, and they don't play until Monday, so there's still some extra time really for Mane to keep on trying to improve.
I've got some news on that front, Conor.
Oh, okay, fire away.
He's out the World Cup.
Oh, is he out the World Cup?
Yeah, they announced it last night.
Oh,
I was shocked.
Okay. Then there you go. Just ignore what I just said for the past 3 minutes because it means nothing. But Senegal, yeah, it's going to be a tricky World Cup then for Senegal without Sadio Mane because he is an electric player, as you know, Joe, as a Liverpool fan, but as we know as Premier League fans as well. He's been an incredible player for Liverpool over the years, and he's already doing well at Bayern Munich. And Senegal are definitely going to miss him because Ecuador is a strong team. They play slow-paced football, but it's still a very talented team. A couple of Brighton players in there. Cancedo, he's a really talented midfielder. That's a really driving force of the team. And I think, even though they play quite a slow-paced game, I think Ecuador could do really well in this group and finish second. And I think it's no question really that, the Netherlands are going to run away in this group. They should perform well. I think their opening game is against Senegal. So if they could get the win against Senegal, really, it's only going to progress better for them. They're playing against Qatar in their final game. So there's a real good chance that they can end up, winning every single one of these games, going through at the top of the group quite comfortably, the Netherlands. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Netherlands win all three of their games. But yeah, even though with Mane out now for Senegal, still really is a coin flip between them and Ecuador who could finish second. I'm leaning towards Ecuador at the moment. But I wouldn't be surprised if Senegal, manages to beat them and get second. And then Qatar, unfortunately, unfortunately for Qatar, I think it is a bit unlikely that they are going to progress out of this group because there are much stronger teams than them in this group. But they have got some good forwards. Afif, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and Ali as well. They're really good forwards for Qatar. They could cause a couple of exciting moments for the team. But ultimately, I think it's going to be Netherlands and Ecuador advancing through in Group A. Should I continue on, or do you want to give me your thoughts on Group A?
Yeah, we could continue through yours, and then we can have a look at mine if you'd like.
Yeah, all right, then I'll run through them quicker then, rather than giving a rundown basically of every team. So yeah, Group B, I've gone for England and Wales to advance, which means USA and Iran going out. It's a similar situation, I think, to Group A, where like England is, that Netherlands-esque team where they should really be storming the group and going through quite comfortably. And we saw how well they played at the Euros last summer. And I think they kind of should be able to replicate that kind of form in the World Cup itself. And then Iran and USA and Wales. I think Wales will finish second. I think they've got a strong chance of getting a decent result against England when they play on the final group game. But I don't think they're good enough to pip them to first spot. But I think they're better than the US. I think there's enough talent in that Welsh team. And I'm not just saying that because, three Welsh players are in the three Welsh players are Nottingham Forest players, Brennan Johnson, Nico Williams, and Wayne Hennessy, to be precise. I think this is a really talented team. Gareth Bale's there for a reason. He's there to make a statement, and he wants to really show off in what could be his final farewell for this Welsh national team. And I think for them to progress to the knockout stages would be something that will be living long in the memory of Welsh fans, similar to their performance at Euro 2016, I want to say. Yeah. USA, they've got a talented team, a strong team. Christian Pulisic, obviously the biggest name in that team, to most people. But I think ultimately they will fall short to Wales. I think the Welsh team's stronger. I think the England team's stronger, and I think they probably will get a result against Iran, because Iran's in that kind of similar boat to Qatar. But they've shown quality in the past. I remember their performance at I think it was the 2018 World Cup. They performed pretty well, or it might have been the World Cup before that. But yeah, I remember their team has got a couple of good players in there. I'm just looking back to see if they did play in the 2018 World Cup. So I can't. Yeah, they did. They got the result against Morocco and the draw against Portugal in that World Cup. So this is a team that is not to be messed with. But ultimately, my WhatsApp just gone off. I do apologise for that. I closed that down. Iran. They're a team. I think they might do well. I think it's Porto's Remy, I think his name is. He's a very talented player for them, probably the most notable. But I think ultimately it's going to be England and Wales out of Group B. I'll quickly go through them all because I realise how much time I am taking up now with my explanations.
That's all right.
So Group C, Argentina and Portugal. Argentina and Poland I've gone with. Mexico and Saudi Arabia going out. I think this Poland team's not to be underestimated, and obviously Argentina are really going to go strong with Lionel Messi looking to win a World Cup in a similar boat to a player that we'll mention later on, and Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal. This might be their last World Cup, so he'll want to go far with Argentina, and Argentina's got a really strong team, and that's a group that should be progressing out of easily. Group D, France and Denmark have gone with over Tunisia and Australia. France, of course, being the current holders. But they are missing a couple of key pieces, which will explain some of my results later on and why I think they're going to go that way. being N'Golo Kante and Paul Pogba, and I think Martial's out of the squad as well. So they've still got a talented team, of course, with Kylian Mbappe leading the front line, but we'll get into my predictions for the knockout rounds a bit later. So there's a bit of a tease for you. Spain and Germany going out of the groups to the knockout stages in Group E. Japan and Costa Rica not progressing for me. Spain's just it's almost like a return to the late 2000s and the early 2010s. That kind of squad for Spain. They're starting to return to the top of world football, in my opinion. Germany, this is a team that's always consistent when it comes to the international stage. They've always played well. And they still got a talented team in order to achieve that. I just think those teams are just better than what Japan and Costa Rica might be able to do. It's still a team though. Japan's still a good team, and a potential one that could spoil the party for either Spain or Germany. But I just think Spain and Germany, they've just got much stronger squads than what Japan has. And Costa Rica, I remember the days of Costa Rica performing well against England. So they're not a team that's exactly to be messed with either. But I just think the level is just too great for Spain and Germany. I think they should be able to get out of this group. Group F, we've gone for Belgium and Croatia. Belgium top in the group, Croatia second. Croatia, of course. They were finalists last time out in Russia, narrowly losing to France in the end. Belgium, this is a team that's always strong and developing, and it's looking great. And I think this is another opportunity for them to progress far in the tournament. I finished third, in 2018, so it's another opportunity for them. Group G, Brazil, one of the favourites, really strong team. Brazil could go really far in this tournament, and they should be able to get out of this group quite easily. And I've gone for Cameroon as well, because Cameroon's a really good team in Group G. I think they, even though Serbia and Switzerland are strong, I think Cameroon is going to be a tough opponent for anyone. Choupo-Moting, has always been a great forward for Cameroon. So I just think they're going to progress well, in my opinion, Cameroon, out of this group. And they could surprise a couple of people in the knockout stages. What are we on to now? Group H, last group, of course. In this one, I've gone for Uruguay and South Korea. Uruguay, Darwin Núñez, Luis Suarez. It's just a mixture, really, in the squad of youth and experience, which you sometimes need in the World Cup in order to progress far. And this, they got the experience, as I mentioned, players like Suarez and Godin, but then also they got Darwin Núñez, who's just he might not be consistent for Liverpool, but we know how good he is as a player. And Valverde as well, the Real Madrid midfielder, just a talented team all over, really, for Uruguay, who could go really far in this tournament. So yeah, I've gone for Uruguay. And South Korea. I think, in my opinion, I think this is going to be a great tournament for Heung-min Son. He's got the injury, I know, and hopefully he'll be able to play. But I think they're a strong team, and they could go, a decent way in this tournament, because I think a lot of people are misjudging Portugal. I just don't think Portugal will be able to go far. I think it's a bit surprising, really, that a lot of people think Portugal potentially go all the way, and I've actually got them going out in the group. So it's that might surprise people, but at the same time, Portugal have been inconsistent. They won Euro 2016, but they've not really done much since, and you have to take that into account. I think sometimes they won the Euro 2016, but they dropped out in round 16 in 2018, I think it was. in the World Cup. So yeah, it's inconsistent, and sometimes you don't know what Ronaldo is going to show up at the tournament. And given that he's been in the news recently, he might have a motivation to play well, but at the same time he might be distracted. So we don't know, but I think that might play a role really into Portugal's tournament. As much as the squad might not say it will, but I think it might. So we'll wait and see what kind of Ronaldo we get at the World Cup. Whether we get one that's looking to make his final big move in football, shall we say, given the current situation at United. But ultimately, I think Portugal will be out of the World Cup in the group stages, which I think might be, out of all the teams, might be the biggest shock. What do you think? What do you think of my predictions, Joe, out of those groups? Anything that stands out to you besides Portugal?
I think it's interesting. I'm surprised that you've got South Korea going through, but obviously that's still Portugal's group. Wales, yeah, I could see either way, Wales or USA, one of those two. It's very tight, a bit like the Senegal and Ecuador one. I agree with those fronts. Nothing on the other ones. There's not much really to surprise me. Maybe the fact that you put Cameroon through, but I've not really kept tabs on the Cameroon national team recently. I only know a fair bit about Switzerland, and Seb keeps me updated with them, and I've seen Serbia have got obviously some good players as well. So, but they never seem to hit the heights at major tournaments. So no, I think that's pretty decent what you've gone for. I'll go through mine in a bit. Do you want to continue with the rest of your tree?
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to go through your groups for the rest of our tree.
I could do if you want. Yeah. I'll just bring up my graphic. So the groups I went for, Group A, I thought Netherlands and Senegal, but then obviously Mane's injured now, so it could quite easily, like you said, flip of the coin, be Ecuador. I've gone for England and USA, but Wales coming closely third. That would be something like a points thing. You just narrow points on that one. Argentina and Mexico. It depends on what Lewandowski turns up for Poland for me. France and Denmark. I've got Germany and Spain. Belgium and Croatia, easy with that one. I think Canada done well in qualifying, but it's completely a different ballgame once you get to the actual tournament. I've gone for Brazil and Switzerland, and I've gone for Uruguay and Portugal just to sneak through, but I don't anticipate them doing well in the tournament. I agree with you on that one, especially with them missing a lot of players. And I know I've got Liverpool bias here, but Diogo Jota is going to be a big miss for them.
Yeah. Jota is definitely going to be a miss for Portugal, and just to ring it back to Poland as well. What you mentioned about Lewandowski, that Poland team is really, really good. I think a lot of people will look at Group C and say, Argentina easily top, but it could easily be between Mexico and Poland for that second spot. And I think a lot of people will lean towards Mexico because they got a good squad. Lorenzo has always been a touted player, and Raul Jimenez, surprisingly fit for this World Cup. He's always been a great forward for Mexico too. And we will know our own Jamie as well as a massive Mexico fan, so he'll be thinking that they'll progress. But Poland, they've got a lot of talent in their squad. And Lewandowski, of course, as you mentioned, leading that line is a good threat to potentially be a top goal scorer at the tournament itself.
So I've got the round of 60. Oh, sorry, I've jumped the gun here and accidentally clicked the wrong graphic, and I've put up your predictions for the greatest player and all that lot. Oh well.
We could do that first if you want. I don't mind. It's up to you. What are we doing first? You tell me.
Yeah, let's go for that. Let's go. So obviously you got your winners are England, because I accidentally put the graphic up before where I did show the whole tournament tree. So you've gone.
That's okay.
Argentina is runners up, haven't you, Connor? And then you've gone for Brazil third place. Harry Kane as top scorer, and your dark horses you've gone Uruguay and Cody Gakpo.
Yeah. So let's just should we just go through the whole tree then? Let's just do it that way. Seems you already spoiled who I was going to say is going to win.
Yeah, go on.
So England, I've gone for the win basically against Argentina in the final. But going back to the round of 16, I think England can beat Ecuador. I think Belgium can beat Germany. That'll be a really entertaining game. And I think Uruguay can beat Cameroon just because of the mixture of youth and experience in that Uruguay team. But the surprise result in the round of 16 really is, of course, that France versus Poland game, where I've got Poland beating the French and knocking out the current holders in the round of 16. Just what I was going briefly go on about then, Lewandowski, I think this is a great tournament for him to really put onto himself and to really demonstrate his skill and quality, as he always does for Poland and as he has done for many years at Bayern Munich, now playing for Barcelona. This is a Poland team, I think, that can't be underestimated, and I think they are going to get a good result against France in the round of 16. And then the other side of the bracket, Netherlands against Wales. Netherlands have got progressing in that one. Argentina against Denmark. Argentina got progressing. Spain against Croatia. Spain have got progressing there. So another finalist of last time's World Cup getting knocked out in the round of 16. And the final round of 16 game, I got Brazil against South Korea, and I got Brazil progressing because there's that talent. Talent in that squad is so good. So good. Neymar, this could be a tournament for him to really stand out. We've got plenty of individuals on all these teams that are looking to win the World Cup for the first time, which is so great. Quarterfinals, England versus Poland. I got England progressing because just the squad's just so good. And you already mentioned about Kane. And I just think, Kane, I think, can be top goal scorer in this tournament because the team is just the England team is just so fitted right now. A lot of people question the defense, but I think the surrounding talent that Kane up front, you've got Grealish, you've got Foden, you've got Saka. This is just a talented team that can progress even further than ever before in the World Cup, and potentially go on and win the whole thing. And I think in order for that to happen, Kane has to be firing at all cylinders and scoring the most goals in this tournament. So that's why I've gone for Kane to be the top goal scorer as England progress all the way to the World Cup final and win the whole thing, which is quite dramatic in a way. And I've actually got a potential bold prediction about that World Cup final, which I'll mention at the end. It's really bold. There's nothing really thought process behind it, but it's just a thought. It's just a fun thought that I had the other day, and what a moment it would be if it came true. But yeah, Kane, surrounded by Sterling and Saka and Foden, Grealish as well. This is a very talented team going forward. And I think it will play a lot into Kane's hand, and he'll be firing at this World Cup. So, I've gone for him to be the top goal scorer and helping England progress to the semi-finals and beyond. Belgium versus Uruguay, back to the quarterfinals. Belgium versus Uruguay. I've got Uruguay advancing. That'll be a really good game. You can say a lot for these quarterfinals, but yeah, they're looking like really good games. That one would be really good. And then back to the other side of the bracket. Netherlands versus Argentina. I've got Argentina to progress in that one. But before we move on from the Netherlands, my breakout star, as you said, Cody Gakpo. He's already been linked to a lot of teams, Gakpo, because he's just a very talented forward. He could very well be the replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United should Cristiano Ronaldo leave the football club by January. And, this is a perfect tournament for him to demonstrate to the world just how talented of a forward he is. And I think this will end up him being moved on from PSV Eindhoven onto, a team like Manchester United or maybe even Liverpool. if they were to look that kind of direction, if they were willing to wait, if he was willing to wait to get a move to Liverpool. But I think, there'll be plenty of teams after this tournament looking to get Gakpo's signature, because he just looks brilliant for the Netherlands and for PSV Eindhoven. So I've gone for him as my breakout star of the tournament. Semi-finals, England versus Uruguay. I've got England progressing, but Uruguay is basically my dark horse of the tournament, the team that I think could do really well. Because, when you look at the South American teams, a lot of people talk about Argentina and Brazil because of Messi and Neymar. But, I think Uruguay, as already mentioned quite a few times, which kind of gives it away that I think they're one of my favorite teams in this tournament. They've just got a lot of talent on this pitch. So I won't go any more into detail into it, because I just realised how long I'm talking about these knockout stages. So I think people get the gist as to why I think Uruguay is one of my dark horses of the tournament, because I think just the talent in the entire team is just unbelievable. Back to the other side, the draw semi-final, Argentina versus Brazil. You're getting a lot of South American teams going deep into this tournament, and Argentina are going to be booking themselves into another final as well. So the end of the road there for Brazil, and I think Brazil will beat Uruguay in the third place playoff game, which I actually didn't know was still being played, because obviously it's not played anymore at the Euros. I thought that was the same case at the World Cup, but I guess not. That'll be another game. Well, all these games should be great. They look great on paper, but then the game itself happens, and sometimes it doesn't happen that way, as it happens so many times for England. But I've got them winning the whole thing, so it's
coming home.
It's coming home. But Argentina in second. The Argentina team, Messi just leading the front line. This is a team that, unfortunately, in my opinion, will fall short once again, similar to how it did in 2014. So it might be Messi's last World Cup, which would be a shame to think that a player like Messi will never win the World Cup. But then again, anything could happen in the final. I've just predicted that England will win, because I think Harry Kane and the forwards are just too much to handle, and I think they're really going to demonstrate that at the World Cup, as they similarly did at the European Championships last year. I've gone for an England win. I don't think I've missed anything out on my other bits of winners, runners up, and third place. I mentioned all them, and I mentioned about Gakpo as well. It should be a great tournament, really. Brazil and Argentina, that's going to be an incredible semi-final to watch. Neymar versus Messi, the two former teammates playing against each other on the pitch once more. Messi as well, this potentially being his final World Cup, but we'll see how that goes for him. 35 years old, the time's running out, unfortunately, when it comes to World Cups, because they only happen four times. Once every 40 years, sorry. Imagine a World Cup only happened four times, jeez. But this is an Argentina team that is desperate to get Messi that World Cup, so they'll do everything for him. And I think they'll go really far in this tournament. But I think England will win it, because I just think Harry Kane is going to be on flying goal scoring form. The defense is not too bad either, despite some of the injuries. As it showed during the group stages in the Euros, I think they didn't concede a single goal. Despite the criticism that this defense goes under, it's a very strong and experienced defense, when it comes to the World Cup as well, because plenty of players in this squad also were part of the 2018 team that got all the way to the semi-finals. So, this is an experienced England team now that can't be underestimated. And, it might be one thing to say that, you're English, of course you're going to say England, but I think there's enough talent, experience, and quality in this England team to potentially go all the way and win it.
And take you to the sweepstake jackpot.
Oh yes, that is true. I've got England in the sweepstakes.
I thought Argentina winners, runners up France, third place
Just see
playoff
me spill my
Brazil.
drink. Sorry, I'm gonna have to wipe it here.
Third place
Go on,
playoff.
continue. Just ignore me.
Argentina. I was going to make a joke and saying you'll need that toilet roll, Connor, if England win the World Cup, but let's not go there. Winners
Yeah,
Argentina.
no more tears.
Runners
No
up
more need for
France.
dreaming. It's coming home.
So we've got winners Argentina, runners up France, Brazil third place playoff, Harry Kane top goal scorer. I agree with that one. Dark horses. I've got Switzerland and Cody Gakpo as the breakout star. I've got England Senegal in one game with England progressing. France Mexico with France progressing. Belgium versus Spain. Spain controversially progressing, but I'd say on penalties. Switzerland Uruguay progressing, and then I got Holland versus USA with Dutch progressing, Argentina, Denmark with Argentina progressing, Germany, Croatia with Germany progressing, and Brazil, Neymar ending Ronaldo's hopes. And then obviously in the quarters, France knocking out England, unfortunately. Uruguay beating Spain. I've got Argentina beating the Dutch. I've got Germany and Brazil, but I've got Brazil winning that one. So it tees up France versus Uruguay with France winning. And I've got Brazil and Argentina, much like you on the other side, with a France versus Argentina final, and Lionel Messi finally completing the set and putting the end to the debate on who is the GOAT and lifting that World Cup, just like his idol Diego Maradona.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you. Like, if Messi does win the World Cup, it does, in essence, put an end to the debate as who's been the better out of the. I mean, you could make a case for either player between Messi and Ronaldo, but if Messi was to win the World Cup, it'll be a strong case to on his side. It'll be a great final for Argentina. I think we've both got Argentina going all the way to the final itself, just a different ending for both of us, which just demonstrates just how strong this Argentina team is. And obviously you got France progressing and knocking England out. And I have to agree with you. Like, if France were to progress and beat Poland, it could be a really tough quarterfinal for England. That would essentially be the toughest game that they played in the tournament so far. So I think, yeah, you're right in that essence that if England were to play against France, I think France might beat them, because you could imagine Kylian Mbappe, just doing wonders for the French leading line. So I think it's a interesting final there for Argentina. You say, was it against Brazil? Sorry, I don't have your graphic in front of me. France. Sorry, you said France.
In the final, yeah.
Yeah. So, France. It could be one of those tournaments where it'd be Messi against Neymar, Messi against Kylian Mbappe. There's going to be a lot of quality forwards at this tournament for once. But when it goes to the next one, you're going to get 48 teams playing in that one. So there's going to be even more quality players in there. So this might be one of those final opportunities for Messi to win the World Cup. And I think we're both strongly thinking that Argentina is going to go at least to the final, and we'll see how it goes differently from there.
Copa America winners as well.
That's true. Copa America winners for Messi, so he does have that international trophy already. Just needs the big one, shall we say, in the World Cup.
What we could both agree is whatever happens off the pitch, there's going to be fireworks on it, and it's going to be a good tournament of football on the pitch. No matter, we're not getting into the political side of things, but whatever happens off the pitch, it's going to be a good tournament on it.
Yeah, it should be some exciting football. We've got some exciting ties in our brackets. Let's hope it all plays out that way.
So thanks for Conor for joining us today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the World Cup. Have a good time, and we'll see you all on the channel very soon.